Hello everyone and welcome to my class. Today I'm starting chapter 4, that is natural resources and their utilization. It's here. In that we'll study about natural resources. Now what are natural resources? The things which are available to us on this earth which we use and nature is providing us. They are natural resources like water, soil, forest, minerals, coal, oil. All these are natural resources. These are also of two types. These natural resources can be inexhaustible or exhaustible. One group which is going to finish if we use it continuously, that is exhaustible. Inexhaustible, which is never going to finish. Now we'll study about these natural resources. That was an introduction to natural resources. Let's see what's written in your chapter. In the universe, Earth is the only planet on which life is possible. This we all know. Life is possible only on one planet, and that is Earth. And why it is possible? Because we have all the things necessary for our existence: air, water, and several other resources available on this planet. That's why all the living things, they can exist on this earth. This makes one wonder, what makes life possible on earth? The answer is nature has been kind enough to bestow upon us its resources on which we have been ever dependent. We have got natural resources, number of resources there, and we as human beings or the other living creatures, they are totally dependent on these natural resources for their survival. We won't be able to survive if this earth will not provide these natural resources to us. Okay? Had it not been for nature, we would not have scaled new heights of development and civilization every day. If these natural resources would have had not been here on this earth, we would have never developed. We would have never reached this position what we are today. So all the development we have done, it's because of all the natural resources available on this earth or nature provides us. A resource is a reservoir of material that is needed to sustain life, that is for the existence of life. Resources means it's like a reservoir, it's a container, and that container is having number of different resources or the materials there. So in one way you can say a container containing all the resources or different resources or the materials, that is natural resources. Living organisms depend on earth for all their requirements. All the living creatures, organisms, whether plants, animals, microorganisms, human beings, we are dependent on this earth for all our requirements. Our Mother Earth is a bank of substances like minerals, oil, coal, water, air, land, forest, etc. So this nature or this earth, it's like a bank. In bank, what we deposit? Money. It keeps money. Same way, earth is also like a bank, and it has deposition or deposits of different things: minerals, oil, coal, water, air, land, forest, etc. And all these resources we use for our purpose. These substances are collectively termed as natural resources. So all these materials available on this earth by the nature, and we use them for our purpose, for our existence, for our development, they are together known as natural resources. We can classify or group these resources under two categories depending on their availability. Now, these are two. First one is inexhaustible, second is exhaustible. Now, what are inexhaustible resources? These are present in abundance. Abundance means a lot amount and can never get exhausted. Exhausted means it's never going to be finished. It will remain there forever, like air, energy from sun, solar radiation. So these are inexhaustible resources. Okay. Second is exhaustible resources. These are those resources which may be exhausted if used continuously. They are also in large amount, but if we use them continuously, regularly, then what will happen? One day they are going to finish. These can be renewable or non-renewable, and they are known as exhaustible resources, and they are categorized into two, that is renewable or non-renewable resources. So here in this picture, it's there, natural resources, this diagram. One side we have inexhaustible like sunlight or air. One side we have exhaustible, and it is also divided into two, renewable. In that we have examples: soil, forest, groundwater, etc. Non-renewable, coal, petroleum, etc. Renew means we can renew, we can get them back, and non-renewable, that we won't be able to get it back. Okay, first we have here air. Air is a vital resource, essential for the very existence of life, as all living things need air for breathing. So all the living creatures on this earth, they need air. They require air for their existence, as it is needed for breathing. The earth is surrounded by a blanket of air called atmosphere. So this complete planet Earth is surrounded by air, and it's like a blanket over the earth. And this blanket of air is known as atmosphere. And it is having number of gases, which is a mixture of gases having 78% nitrogen, highest amount, 21% oxygen, 0.03% carbon dioxide, and 0.93% other gases, water vapor, etc. So all these gases are there in the atmosphere, We need oxygen to breathe in, and we give out carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is taken by the plant. They breathe in carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. It's a diagram here of the composition of air. Now, let's see significance of air, that is importance of air. The various components of air are very important as they help us in many ways. For instance means example. These are the components of air. First, we are taking oxygen. Oxygen present in air is required for breathing. We need oxygen because we breathe in this gas. Human beings, animals, they take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis, a process by which plants make food. Plants, they breathe in carbon dioxide and they use this gas in that process of photosynthesis, in which they require water, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and nutrients from the soil to make food. And that food is used by other creatures. Next one, nitrogen. Nitrogen is needed for growth as it forms an essential part of protein. So this gas is needed for growth for the plants also, for animals and other creatures also. It's an important part of protein, which is necessary for the growth of the body. Next one, ozone layer protects us from harmful radiations of the sun. There is one layer of the gas of ozone layer, we call it ozone layer, and this ozone layer saves us or protect us from the direct solar radiation or direct sun rays, and that is very, very harmful for all the living creatures on this earth. So this ozone layer helps in this. It saves our life or protects our life from this harmful, or you can say direct sun rays. Besides this, air is very important as it helps in dispersal of seeds and pollen grains when it moves. Now, other importance of air is with the movement of the air, seeds and pollen grains, they also flow with the movement of the air. And at some place, they settle down into the scent and they grow as a new plant. So air is needed for that purpose also, for seed dispersal and pollination. Some animals such as birds, insects, etc. fly in air. There are some creatures like birds and insects, they fly in the air. So for that thing, they need air. So it is a medium of locomotion. Locomotion is movement for them. Sound waves cannot travel without air as a medium. So for the movement or the locomotion of sound waves also, this medium of air is needed. We can see various uses of air in the pictures below. These are the pictures here. Now, next is water. Water is a valuable resource which is recycled in nature over and over. It is very essential resource for sustaining both plant and animal life. Water is needed by the plants, animals, insects, human beings, all the living creatures. It's necessary for their existence on this planet. And this water is available only on this planet. That's why this planet is also known as blue planet. And it gets recycled in nature. How it gets recycled, that we'll study. Now, first we'll study about this. There are various sources of water. Now, what are these sources? Rain and snow, lakes and rivers, oceans and seas, and groundwater. So these are the sources from where we get water. How is water renewed in nature? Now this we'll study in this paragraph, that how water is recycled or renewed. Water evaporates from the water bodies like rivers, seas, etc., or from transpiration by plants. One, that water evaporates from the big water bodies, whether it's a river or a sea or an ocean or a pond, anything. It gets evaporated, and from plants also water gets evaporated by this process, that is transpiration. Upon reaching the atmosphere, it forms clouds by condensation. That water vapor reaches the atmosphere and it changes into, or water vapors change into clouds, and that process is condensation. And thereafter, by precipitation, it comes back to earth in the form of rain or snow. And afterwards, precipitation takes place, and that condensation, water is there in the form of clouds. It comes down on the earth in the form of rain or snow and reaches the water bodies, and that water, that rainwater reaches all those water bodies there, river, lakes, seas, oceans. This whole process is termed water cycle. So this is known as water cycle. Now we have this diagram of water cycle here. Starts from here. Evaporation of water by the heat of the sun. This is water body given. From there, evaporation takes place. And how it takes place? Because of the heat of the sun. Water changes into water vapor, that is evaporation. And it is moving towards up in the atmosphere. Changes into clouds. This is condensation. Now, then clouds get blocked. This way, a mountain there is no movement of the clouds, they get blocked by this structure. So what happens? They come down as rain. Water collected in the clouds, it comes down the form of rain or snow on this earth. And then from there, it moves towards the water bodies. That water goes towards the water bodies, and this cycle goes on and on. So this is known as water cycle. So here evaporation, then condensation, and here precipitation. Next is significance of water, that is importance of water. Water forms 70% of our body. It is required by plants for photosynthesis. Our body consists of water. 70% of our body consists of water. Plants, they also need water for the photosynthesis. And through this process of photosynthesis, they make or produce food. And that food is eaten by the other living creatures. It is the main transporting medium in the body of a living being, which is important for circulation of food, waste, etc. So inside our body or the body of any living being, this water becomes the transporting medium. With the help of this water, this circulation of food and waste and other things, it takes place with the help of water. That's why it is transporting medium in our body. Besides this, water finds use in household work. These are other uses of water. In household work, in houses, we need water for different work, for washing of clothes, washing of utensils, for bathing, for drinking, and for many other purposes. Transportation. It helps in transportation for moving from one place to another with the help of ships or boats. Irrigation. Irrigation means providing water to the crops. That is irrigation. In industries, for different work, you need water. And generating electricity also. So we generate electricity also, the use of water. So these are different uses of water. You can see in the picture, a water dam is there, helps in irrigation and generation of electricity. For both purposes, this water is used here with the help of this dam for production of electricity and for irrigation as well. Another picture here. Water is very useful for animal and plant life. For aquatic animals, that is needed. For transportation, we need water. Next, natural resource, we have soil. Soil is an essential medium for growth of plants, which in turn provide food for animals and men. Now this sand or soil or land is very much needed for the growth of different plants or the trees. And these plants, they make food with the help of the soil or the nutrition they get from the soil. So these plants, they need water, they need air also, they need soil also for the production of food. And that food is taken by or eaten by the other living creatures. So that way we are also dependent on soil. Soil is formed by the breaking of rocks due to the action of sun, that is related with heat, water, ice, winds, and plants. Now this is formation of soil. How soil is formed? When the rocks, they erode or when they are broken down, that time they changes into very minute particles, and that is known as soil. And that erosion or that breaking of rocks, it occurs due to different reasons. Maybe heat of the sun, too much heat of the sun, or the water, effect of water, the fast flow of the water, or the ice, or the winds, or sometimes by the growth of plants also. These rocks, they get eroded and soil is formed as a result. Soil consists of 4 layers. Out of these 4 layers, now first we'll see this picture, 4 layers given there. This is the first layer, humus is written there, and this is topsoil. Then you have subsoil. Third layer is weathered rock, and last layer is bedrock. This is soil profile. 4 layers are given here. Now we'll read this thing. Out of these 4 layers, the topmost layer is the most important as it contains all the nutrients essential for the growth of plants. This top layer or topsoil, it consists or it contains all the nutrients which are needed by the plants for their growth and for producing food. So for the growth of plants and trees, this top layer of the soil is very, very essential, very much important. Soil is also home for a number of microorganisms. Microorganisms, they live in the soil. It's their habitat. Now next, significance of soil or importance of soil. Soil is the uppermost layer of the Earth's crust. It is the medium that supports growth of plants and provide them anchorage. So for the growth of plants, that top layer of the soil, uppermost layer of the soil is very much needed as it contains all the nutrients which are necessary for the growth of plants and for the production of food by the plants. Second point, since soil supports plants, it supports animal life also, as plants are main source of food for animals directly or indirectly. Plants, they produce food, and the other animals, they are dependent on plants for food. So directly or indirectly, animals, they are dependent on soil. For example, herbivores eat plants directly and carnivores eat herbivores. So herbivores are those animals eat plants or food from the plants. They are known as herbivores. Plants, they produce their foods. They are known as autotrophs or producers. That food produced by the plants are eaten by the animals, and these animals are known as herbivores. And some animals, they eat animals. These herbivores, they are known as carnivores. So animals directly or indirectly dependent on plants for their food, and plants are dependent on soil. So indirectly, we are dependent on soil. Third point, soil is the home for a number of microorganisms, earthworms, and other mini beasts. Mini beasts, very small animals. So it's habitat of different microorganisms or the earthworms. So for today, this much enough. Continue tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day.